6:30, we are starting. We're called to order. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from October 3rd?
I'll motion to approve the minutes from October
Okay.
3rd.
Second.
A second.
All in favor?
Oh, you got 10 there.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? Okay, how about the agenda for today? Is that okay with everybody?
Okay.
Need a motion to approve it?
I move to approve the agenda.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Hey, can you guys just, okay, we'll give you the floor here in a minute. All right, since I hadn't prepared for this meeting, I don't have any remarks, other than what I'll cover in the planning portion. There will be some things I want to talk about, but we'll let Rita when we get to the roads. Office update?
Oh, yes. So, as we all know, I've been clearing a lot of files. I have a list of things to take to recycling. Remember before, a few years ago, we decided best just to throw them into the recycling bin. So just real quick rundown, things from the 90s about lot sales, things about Ship's Point approval of the pier, amusement park protests, but you didn't know that they tried to put an amusement park in here years ago in the 80s. Street light objections, Founder's Day, Paul Kerman, correspondence, which we don't need to keep, all that kind of stuff. I'm keeping minutes, because you have to keep those forever. I'm keeping things that seem to be like historic from John Wagner, John Randall, some of the men that were really integral in the transitioning of this area from CRE to Drum Point and so on, road company to the association. So I just like to keep a file on each man. So.
Yeah.
A slide presentation, property tax forms, none of that do we have to keep. Old road contracts back in the 90s and the early 2000s, and things like that. So unless anybody objects to any of that, I want to start taking some of it to the dump. My office is a mess, and I still have, you know, several boxes of it I have to go through. So I'm going to do that.
That's reasonable to me.
I got a, as we always do, the Solomon's Volunteer Rescue Squad Fire Department, they're asking for a donation. Now, we donate every year anyway. Can we go ahead and make that happen now, since I've gotten the donation request? Or do you want to wait until?
When did we do the last one?
It's been more than a year.
Okay, well, I mean, I can do it, as long as it's annual.
Okay, okay. Do we make it an annual donation?
What was the last one?
I think it was 300. I didn't look at that.
Okay.
I just got one last week.
Yeah, we got ours.
And I looked back to see when the last one was, and it was May. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't donate every time we get that. We just donate, like especially after there's been a storm and we have trees down and they've come in and they're so good about getting them out of the street. So I just wondered if you just wanted to make it an annual thing, a certain amount, when I get that one severe coupon.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. Anybody, any discussion on it?
No, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, as long as we have it in the budget to do it, I think it's,
It's in the
they
budget.
are very helpful.
They are. Do you want to make a certain amount, a motion for an amount?
Well, we can, but what did we do last year?
I'd have to look it up. I didn't think.
I would,
I'll check
say
it. I'll
whatever we
check
did
it
last
right back.
year,
Whatever
do it
was
again.
last year? Okay. Okay.
and what's in the, or whatever's in the budget.
Yeah.
Jack, you know, offhand?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll double check to see how much it was and then I'll send an email to let everybody know.
Yeah.
All right, all right. So I filed a lien on a property, you know, a while ago now. Well, that property has now gone into foreclosure. So we don't get to collect on it at all because it's foreclosed on. So it's only $15 to file a lien after you've gone through all the different steps, file a claim, you get the judgment, they don't respond, then you can file a lien. At some point, you know, we're just not going to collect apparently. So can I continue to file liens at a cost of $15? Only to have it go into foreclosure?
Well, you don't know that it's always gonna go to
No,
foreclosure,
no,
do you?
no.
I don't know, I think we should file
Okay.
claims that,
Which property is this?
I don't remember, I don't have the, in my head, but I think it's one on Overlook. I actually had a letter from the attorney saying that there was gonna be a sheriff's sale. And they apparently caught their taxes up, because it went out of, I got a follow-up letter saying it's no longer in sheriff's sale. So I'm assuming that means they paid their property taxes now, and that was that was the one I had filed a lien on, so. Okay, it's only 15, okay, all right. The generator has not been working. I noticed it a couple weeks ago, it didn't come on with its Wednesday, check that always comes on. And so I called CMB Electric, who installed the generator. He replaced the starter, that did not work, so we've not been charged for any of this yet. He replaced the battery, did not work, but the booster works to turn the unit on. Does that make any sense to people with generators?
no.
Okay, so he's having the battery checked, and he said the board may have blown the new battery, which would mean we would need a new motherboard. I'm calling it a motherboard, he called it a board.
Maybe he's using a battery booster connected.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be.
Okay, so anyway, that's going on, but right now it's not working. So, just to let you know.
See what happens, see what it takes to get it fixed.
Yeah, and we just got the insurance bill today, and it's gone up somewhat significantly. Last year, or the current year, we paid $51.38 total. Next year, 2024, it's going up to $61.76 total, about $1,000. And that's mostly on the DNO and the building. Just, that's it.
Okay.
Should I, do I need to let them know about the beach, restoration, and now there's these rocks out there? Does that bring any more liability to us than it would ordinarily?
I don't know, might not hurt to ask our agent.
Okay, all right.
I don't know why
The
it
beach
should,
has
it's
always
not,
been there.
yeah, it's not it's designed so that it's really pretty safe, but,
Right. Probably safer than it was. When you think about all
Well-
the stuff that was sticking up in there, the asphalt that was
everywhere,
sticking up.
yeah.
probably, but,
All right, I will check. That's it.
okay. All right. So we're gonna get into roads and operations, but as we do that, I want to introduce, most of us know, but the ghost of roads paving past and the ghost of the present and the future, right? So, of course, Jeff McDonald's been doing this for several years, and Steve Rowe came on this year to pick it up. And Jeff's done a great job in mentoring Steve and getting Steve checked out, and I'll just say that, at least compared to the last couple of years, that what they've done out there this year was fantastic. I think they did a great job.
Yeah, I think it's,
Between you guys and She or She-Hi or whatever they are, it really looks good to me.
yeah, I think it's a very well done job, and I think Steve did a really good job overseeing the work.
Right.
And I think,
Plus it had the added challenge, we were, that section of roads is where the community beach is. So we had the big construction effort going on the beach, putting in the spur and sand and everything. So we had to do a kabuki dance around that and the paving on that. And they were able to pull that off, and so it's done a great job. And you guys can fill us in more on the details of the paving. But the board wanted to, Steve will get another reward a little later, but for Jeff, just in thanks for all you've done and for helping Steve and all that, and there was no, you didn't have any dollars invested in it, but we just wanted to thank you, so here's a little gift.
that's awful nice. You knew I liked wine.
Just a lucky guess.
I want,
Oh, that's really.
I don't know,
nice.
her initial was C.
Oh, well,
Anyway,
I
thank-
sure appreciate it.
Thanks for all you've done, and thanks, it's been a great transition. I think it's really worked out well.
Yeah, I'm really feeling good about it now, and I told Steve that, I'll be available, for any, consult, he's free to call on me if he's got a question or wants some advice on something one way or the other.
Appreciate
You
it.
know, it says, I don't mind doing it, I don't mind maintaining the connection with Drum Point, it's been since, 2010 that I've, been working with y'all.
Yeah.
And, I don't, I'm retired, I got time. It's an interest, always, liked and been involved with.
So it's good to get some, fresh blood in the game, and,
Yeah,
we're not all gonna be around forever, and
Yes, we are.
Well,
Speak for
look,
yourself,
I will
right?
say, throughout the project, though, Jeff, he gave a lot of really good, advice and things for me to watch out for. And I heard his voice almost every single day out there. He told me what they would try to do, because they're gonna try to do as minimal work as they can to get the job done to make the most, so. But yeah, I heard his voice echoing, he was like, no, that's not right. But yeah, thanks, Jeff, for all the mentoring.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
well, sure, I will,
Thank you.
that's what you need the oversight, because
Yeah.
if there's not somebody out there, things are gonna be,
Right.
you need somebody to do that, that's really important.
And for my part, I would just say this year has been a godsend compared to the last 2 years with the other gentleman who shall remain nameless.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's been great. And reimbursement for the spray paint. Remember
Oh
months
my
ago
God,
now?
we didn't
I
have
know,
to do
but you
that.
should not, at the very least, you shouldn't incur any expense, so anyway,
You
there's.
really, that is unnecessary.
Well, you shouldn't have to spend your money on that, anyway, so.
okay, now you get to fill us in on where we're at and what happened and how much it cost and all that good stuff.
So Shehi was, they were extremely good to work with. I enjoyed working with them. They were very responsive. Whenever I had an issue, they addressed it right away. There were no questions, no, backtalk, no trying to, lure me away from what, I knew we needed to do. From the very beginning, they did need the expectation set of what we were looking for. So that was part of the first couple of days and trying to jockey around what they were doing and, making sure we were getting it done the way I know we want it done. But after that, it was really just a matter of, like Jeff said, you need the oversight. They're gonna miss things that, we've walked by and talked about, 100 times, just because they're new on the property. That and, having, some of the residents, that come out and they wanna ask questions, just fielding that, watching to make sure you've got all the asphalt the truck and it dumps, and just being there, it is important. And if you're not there, they take shortcuts. So, but it all went very well. There were a few, we did go over a little bit, I think we do almost every year. One of the main reasons why we went over as much as we did this year was because we added on the beach access road there. So, and that and the patch we did was.
How much did it go over?
It went over by 39,000, somewhere around 39,000. And so 10,000 of it would probably equal the patch and the beach access.
Yeah.
So all in all, it comes to around 14.5%, somewhere around there is what we went over to.
And we've done all of the.
Well, excluding the beach and stuff. We did go over almost 20% total. So-
Yeah, and that's because of mainly the beach access.
Yeah.
The patch was not as much, but it was still added to it somewhat.
Right.
But we typically overrun, 14%. Anyways, because, you're taking out deflections in the pavement and whatnot,
Right.
trying to even everything out, and that ends
Yeah.
up some extra asphalt. And, the anything we go over is a bonus of extra, you know, that we're getting on the road. And that's why, you know, when I came on, we switched from paying by the square yard to paying by the ton for the
Yeah.
material. So whatever we're paying for is material, and that's material that's going down on the roads. And, you know, a little extra doesn't hurt us, it helps us.
Right.
Yeah.
Good, like the CR6 on the shoulders, was that all, any arguments over that, or how that was calculated and?
I don't think as far as the calculator, I haven't seen the invoice up close. I didn't have my glasses on when I did see.
Well, I think
Actually,
they had an extra, the only
Yeah.
extra they had on there was 430 linear feet,
Yes.
which was mainly the beach access,
The beach
because they
access.
did that all the way around, and the bulk of that was beaten up in that, and there was a couple areas that, you know, they hadn't, it wasn't really anticipated that they would need to do that they did do, so, that was right in line with everything, so.
I have the total, I just don't have the difference in the two. Ready for me. But no, that was all good. I mean, that was another area where they really needed a lot of oversight in that. I mean, they were, you know, literally just kind of picking and choosing where they wanted to put it at first. And I had to call their PM and, you know, let them know, hey, we're missing a lot of areas here. And so he came out, he would actually come out and look at things that they were doing, if, you know,
Yeah, I mean, this was a good project for him to start off on, you know. Great Mills comes in here, and they do their paving in 2 days, they do their stone in 2 days, you know, and prep work is in another day, so you're talking about a week, they would do it all. High, and we've used them in the past, they did Deer Drive back when, and they're smaller, slower, and they do things a little differently, which takes a little more time. And I told Steve, I said, this is gonna be the perfect job for you to be broken in on, because if he's trying to keep up with a company that's going great guns, it's gonna be a lot more difficult, and this was perfect for him to learn, you know, on. So, I think it really will work out well. And all the shoulder work, the stone, you know, was perfect, and a few things that we discussed, you know, that he had them take care of. You know, so I'm real happy with the way.
Yeah, I know when we were down there, we were down at the beach, the one day they came down and then finished up the shoulder work. They were very responsive and very, you know, easy to talk to, and there was no arguing or anything.
Right, right. And hopefully they're gonna be happy with it too. You know, I told them at the onset, at the pre-bid, you know, if you can keep being competitive with your bids, you should have a strong chance of getting work in the future. You know, because I think it could be a good idea to get away from Great Mills for a while, you know.
Maybe they were resting on their laurels a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think they were upset, you know, with what we came back on them about that last project, and I think that's the reason they didn't even show up for, you know, or put in the bid for the project, you know, and, you know, if that's the way they want to be, you know, get somebody else.
Did have one complaint, and I brought it to your attention, Steve, the guy on Ottawa, and you, Steve, already talked to him about it, so.
Yeah, so, I think his name is Dan Flora. Yeah, he doesn't have any rocks or asphalt in this driveway. You know, it's just his grass, he's created a driveway, for his trucks. And he's also, his house is on a lower grade than the road itself. So when they went through, I mean, obviously they added a little more asphalt to it, so the lip got a little larger, so it wound up taking a little more CR6. So now he considers his CR6 his launch pad. So he's not real happy with the slope that he's got coming out of that. But I think what he had before was just a curve. It was just where the asphalt ended, and a couple inches down, he had his grass.
Right.
But, you know, he says it was smoother, you know, I had to talk with him, I went over there and talked to him. You know, and I had just told him I'd mention his issue and see if you guys wanted to do anything about it. I know it's not anything I can do, they did their part, and what was in the scope they did, actually they went beyond, they put about 4 feet of CR6 in. just to kind of get that even. You know, but he wants something out, he asked for some millings or something like that they could drop in there. So he said he'd had gravel in there before, but he's on such a slope that it's all washed out.
Is this Ottawa, did you say?
Yeah, Ottawa, I think it's 12, 9,
Okay,
6,
right.
7.
I mean, all those properties on Ottawa sit low to the road.
Mhm.
They've always had issues with, you know, water draining off the road.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a natural topo of that side of Ottawa. Yeah, I don't know.
it sounds to me like, I mean, I tried to look at it too, but it sounds to me like if we put a slope in there, which was more than anybody probably had before, I don't know where his complaint is.
Right, right.
He,
You're only talking inches here.
Yeah.
You probably had a drop off to begin with.
I think he had a drop off, but the slope wasn't as steep. Now if he backs up, he starts the slope and kind of goes up. You know.
I don't know if that's,
Yeah, if you wanna, and pictures don't do it justice, but, you know, he's this one is from the side, so you can see the slope there. I mean, he did a pretty good job.
is this his driveway right here?
Yes, that's his driveway.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can see for yourself there. I mean, you can't really see that there's much of a slope there.
I just dropped it.
It's rolling across the picture.
That bad to me. It's like pretty wide.
Yeah, and he's got a truck too, so. And we did have one other issue before they put the CR6 down, and Shihai, again, they addressed it really quick. They got me in touch with their safety officer who happened to be here on the property when she called. But she had backed into her driveway, and her house was on a higher grade than the road. And because of the lip in the road, she said the front flaring fender hit the road and cracked it. So he went and looked at it, and they took care of that. So whatever they need to do, they're taking care of that issue.
Is this the driveway here?
Yeah,
Okay.
like you said, a grass driveway.
Yeah, there's not any gravel, and he said there was gravel there before, but it washed away, and, you know, and I said, well, isn't it gonna wash away again?
I think he's
Put it down
looking
again.
for something
Yeah.
more.
We suggest that.
Yeah, I see it there.
He said, well, they could have put the millings from when they milled up, you know, the tie-ins on the driveways, there. And I said, well, listen, we didn't know you were gonna have this issue. But I did ask, I asked their, Shihai's project manager if they had any millings available, or if they were just going out and drop off, maybe, you know, spray it, and, he said no, so.
I don't know, that doesn't look bad to me.
I don't see
Yeah.
an issue either. Is it so if the property is down from the road, is this a question of another one of those, you know, it's gravity, it's water, it's what happens, it's gonna wash down?
Yeah, the big thing
He's
he's
going to
saying
calm me
is,
down.
if it snows, he says he's not gonna be able to get out of his driveway.
Oh.
But he's got a grade already that slopes upwards, so, you know, and I didn't argue with him, I just, you know, had a conversation and, you know, entertained him a little bit, and he said, I'll, you know.
And you have the name?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Dan Flora.
He's an original owner, he's been here for 34 years.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay, well. I'll say. Move on.
Yeah. And then one last thing, so on Holly, There was some really steep wedging on that road, so
Yeah.
one of the other reasons why we went over a lot was they actually wet and re-wedged that road. Which means they put down a layer of asphalt that was even with the crown in the road
Yeah.
to bring it up on both sides, and then laid down the layer of asphalt.
I know when I drove that, when we were trying to decide whether to do it or not, I drove that, and it looked like it definitely needed work.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the first road they did. I was, oh my gosh, we're gonna go way over.
Oh,
Well, most of the roads, do, pretty much adhere to, the standard, which is a 2% fall off the crown.
yeah.
Yeah, but there are a few roads that, do not, so it's certainly appropriate to, correct them as able.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and they did use the measuring stick, I don't know what it's called, the official word. To measure
For
the
checking the
asphalt.
grade.
Yeah, for checking the grade, no, for the depth.
Yeah, that's right, yeah,
Okay.
right.
They did use that as they were going along, so watching, making sure that they were getting, 2 inches down so they could.
That's one of the things I was telling Steve, make sure you watch for it, because, they should have as the paver goes down the road, they have a tool which has a disc on it, and on a rod, and you stick it down until it hits the old asphalt.
Oh.
And it should land right where that disc is, you preset it to the depth of asphalt that you should be putting down, so it's, just kind of make sure that they stay, to the depths that they're, supposed to be.
Well,
at.
I think it turned out good.
Yeah, that's good.
Hopefully, next time around, we'll have the same luck.
Yeah, and you wanna spend money on these roads too, so, something to show to the county, so, a little bit of overrun here and there, is.
They've never objected, as long as the
Yeah.
money is being spent on capital projects.
Right, and it
Yeah.
helps you maintain a good, amount going forward that they expect you to, put down and not complain about, so.
Okay, good. All right.
So I'm going to bill most of that from the STD, but I was thinking I might, since we have 36,000 in short funds, I might dip into that unless somebody sees a reason not to.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, okay,
Use it.
yeah.
Okay. Anything else on the road?
Well, just a couple of quick things. I had a complaint, which actually was the second complaint, about people who come down the Riverview Causeway Park, where, it's above the causeway and then fish, and you're blocking traffic. So, we had some rocks, John Wood put some rocks out there for us to kind of just block people from parking. So that was $2,100, and I had an owner call and thank me. Probably the one that had complained, so that was a good thing. Also, Grover's Landscape yesterday came out to pump, clear out the equalizer pipe on the Bay Causeway. And it's going to be a little more than it has been in the past. They've had to bring in some other piece of machinery, I don't know what that is. It's usually been about $400 to have them kind of ring it out with something, and that just wasn't working, so we had to bring in something else. That's it.
Okay. All right, Jack, now that we've spent all the money, how are we doing?
If you don't mind, I'll duck out.
Oh, yeah, sure,
I
thanks,
got
yeah,
dinner
thanks
ready
again.
for me,
And
so.
Steve, you're welcome to stay or go or whatever you're.
And again, thanks so much.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it, that's thoughtful. I did that. Okay, well,
All right.
everybody,
Have a good one.
yeah, we'll be talking.
Steve, you'll hear, use that, your phone, guys.
That's Jeff's.
That is mine.
I want that.
And Steve will hear from Maria
Steve will hear from where? You mean,
in lieu of a basket.
oh yeah, you don't get that.
Right. You probably want more of that, eh?
Me. See ya.
All right, everybody, thanks again. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Good talking.
Thanks.
Bye, Steve.
Unless you're gonna talk about any of the projects on the road list.
Nope.
All right, have a good night, everyone.
Okay.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Okay.
So I had a quick look at the budget, everything looks in order, so nothing unusual, nothing really to even remark on. But the other thing that I've been doing is this reserve study. and sending out to the
Yeah, I got your
finance
email, I
committee.
just haven't had time to dig into it.
It's, it's just, some of the prices they put on here are kind of ridiculous, I think, which really has bumped up the amount they say we need reserves for. I would say at best it'd be half of the 185 they have recommended. But, I just don't, I have to say, I still don't understand, having reserves for roads,
Well, I think he started to back away from that once he realized we had a funding stream to take care of roads
and it's a lot of money.
yeah, right.
So, we're not the only ones. I was talking to a guy from Annapolis who has 8 people in his HOA, and they just told him to screw it, they're not gonna do anything. They have to go get eight people to get a minimum of $3,000 study, so they'll be out of pocket huge. So they just aren't gonna do anything. I applaud that.
Maybe we can take what makes sense out of that and.
And that's what he said, he said
And
just
then-
exclude whatever you
Yeah.
feel isn't going to, doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Did we get a chance to look at that, or?
The finance committee's working on it.
I know
You're
you
certainly
are,
welcome to.
yeah, I'm just curious.
I haven't had a lot of people wanting to.
So the red
work on
comments,
it.
those are my comments back to
Okay.
Jen.
So they want a bigger entrance monument?
Well, they think we have to pay for that if, it gets obliterated in whatever storm or whatever's gonna happen. But some of the, all those thousands of dollars for the small signs,
I'm not sure what that was, because we have street signs, and that's just general maintenance, that's not long-term
Well, unless he
maintenance.
means the area signs that we have for the neighborhood.
But I think that's a separate line item, isn't it? Entrance signs?
I don't know which one you're talking about.
it's the small ones, he calls them.
Right,
Yeah, they're separate.
that's a separate line item. He has entrance signs, okay, and then he has small signs. And I'm not sure what that is, other than it must be street signs.
Well,
Well, is it like the access to the beaches, those kind of
I have
signs?
no idea, small signs. And regardless, it's maintenance, it's not long-term anything,
well,
is it?
if you're talking about the signs that go into the different neighborhoods,
Separate
that
line.
come off of Rosby Hall
Oh,
Road.
yeah, because there's other.
Those are fairly
Yeah.
intricate signs,
Yeah.
and those can be fairly expensive to replace. And they're, and so I think that's probably a legitimate thing to
Yeah,
address.
yeah,
Some of that can be maintenance, you can do a little bit of fixing on those, but at some point, they're gonna rot and you're gonna have to replace them.
But I think he has a whole separate line for those.
Well, that's fine,
Yeah.
if that's what it is. But just need to identify what he's talking about.
When he said small signs, I assume you meant like low parking signs.
That's what I-
Oh,
that's what I-
Yeah, I don't know.
various
or
things
beach
on-
access,
Well, we should ask him to clarify and define what that means, and so we know.
Yeah, like the $20,000 for the kitchen remodel, that seems
Yeah.
like we don't use the kitchen.
We don't, yeah, right. This, yeah.
Yeah. There's,
Some of this he's treated, what, the background in this, is the state says, well, you should identify things that, basically,
okay. Huh?
that you're gonna have to replace over time, and you should have a fund,
Well,
reserve funds to cover it.
I got a picture, I can
Okay.
see what it's.
If we were
yeah,
using
a lot
that
of it's
kitchen-
ridiculous.
Routinely, well, okay, maybe, but like they said, we don't.
I mean, some of the things.
It doesn't even
obviously,
belong
you
on
need
there.
like septic and things like that, that makes sense, but like the cosmetic things or things that
Yeah.
we don't use, I
The
don't.
bathroom, that's a maintenance kind of thing, replace the flush valve or,
Right. Okay.
so, okay,
May
so,
I ask a question,
yeah,
or make a statement, I don't know which it is, and I printed out what Jack had done, and, in with things. Because things that are legitimately in the reserve, they're not all gonna go, you know, kaplooey all at once. So, I mean, I think there's some sort of minimum amount that they said we had to have in the study, but we never found out what that amount was.
I didn't catch that in this
Well,
discussion.
So maybe if you guys could look at Jack's,
Oh, yeah,
thing and make your comments,
right.
okay, yeah.
Track changes.
Yeah.
and then if you have, other than to say, yes, exclude or whatever, if you have questions, if you could send those,
Oh, absolutely,
And
I
then
will
we
do that.
can-
I'm just thinking, you know, in the normal kind of thing, you wouldn't have to have all that money in there all at once, I would think, because not everything's gonna break down at the
Right.
same time. And every year we put more money into it, we roll over money into it, so I think if we think of it that way too, but I think the report has mentioned something about a minimum or a threshold, and I never heard what that really was, whether it was a percentage or something like that. So, but I'll note that in the question that I have.
okay.
Okay. All right, anything else on that?
That's it.
So, the finance committee will respond and then we'll get back together on that.
Yep.
Okay, environmental committee, Bonnie?
I have nothing, but I bet Jenny does.
Well, Jenny is not here, but she's gonna do I know she's got the, Ivy League planned for,
Yeah.
on Saturday the 11th. I think she's gonna
I
send
think
out
that's coming up.
She
she's
has-
gonna send out a notice
okay.
and where, when, and what time and all that stuff.
Okay, that's all I've got.
Okay. I assume there's nothing for safety?
I have something.
Oh,
I sent out,
you're a new safe guy.
yeah, I said, kind of
Okay,
take
good,
that on.
good.
So I sent out an email to everyone on the roster that I had, which was an old roster, it's fall of 2020,
On the safety committee?
safety
Yeah.
committee.
Yeah.
I also contacted Emergency Operations Center, make sure their phone numbers were accurate, and see if those folks were still there.
Yeah.
Some have retired and moved on, so I just updated the list.
Okay, good.
I did get some responses back from folks, but not many. Some folk, a couple people didn't want to stay on, so they took their name off. So I'm still waiting to hear back from others, so
Okay.
I'll follow up with those folks.
All right, good.
That's good. that
Yeah,
the
welcome on that.
Telephone's updated.
I
Yeah,
apologize,
just-
hey, we've been sort of in a hiatus for quite a while with Peter dying and then with Maggie, having to resign, and so, thanks for stepping in. Okay, welcome committee,
Just distributed one bucket last week. I think I have 7 left in the back. No, I've actually not, I've got 7 letters I'm ready to send out tomorrow to newcomers, asking them to come in. I think there's actually 8 buckets left in the back, so. That's it.
okay. All right, the planning committee, so I think everybody's aware, the work is done down on the beach. The spur is in, looks good, sand is in, I finished the planting last week. Basically, marsh grass, basically, on the end up towards the rocks. That's done. The paving that they talked about, the newly paved entrance going into there, so it really looks good. We're, is the porta potty still there?
It'll be picked up this week.
Okay. Is there some reason we don't leave it there a little longer? For people?
No, we just always have had, if we have it dropped off a couple weeks before Memorial Day and picked up a couple weeks after. Certainly leave it there.
I think we don't, yeah, I mean, Memorial Day is pretty late. People start using that.
Well,
and-
I'd like to say a few weeks before, but
Yeah.
yeah. Shall I just have them leave it there
Well,
another month? Or
let's leave it there.
indefinitely?
Let's leave it another month and see, how much use we get.
Okay.
We'll open the beach again as soon as we get these last 1 or 2 inspections done.
Right,
We've gotten the invoice from RRG, it was 92,000 and change,
yeah.
which was considerably less than what we budgeted, so that was good. But we do have another, 14,000 due to Coastline Design for all their support.
That was their
management.
estimate, I haven't gotten an invoice.
Yeah, right, so we'll, with that. So as soon as we get the, as soon as we get an okay from, especially from the county, then I told Rita to go ahead and we can, submit bill for the STD, and, point out in there that we had, it's been inspected in the past, and start the financial part of it. I think it turned out good. Took forever to get there, but,
It took a while.
I just hope it works.
well, I do. Although I will say that, we did have, when it was out, a little more than halfway out before they, gotten it fully extended, we did have that one storm. And if you looked at the end of the beach down towards the club, where it was not protected by that spur,
Right.
it wiped that sand out and took it down to tree roots and crap, all over the place.
Yeah.
The part up by the, that was up inside that spur, actually looked to me like it gained sand. So
Good, excellent.
I think it'll work.
Yeah. No, I think it'll work for us. I think German Point Club will be another issue. It might like wipe out
Well,
sand there. But
so far it doesn't look like it's gonna wipe it out, but it's not gonna help any.
Yeah. No, I think it's, we need to do what we need to do, so I get
Well,
it.
I mean, we can't wait for them.
No, I know.
I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that they could be doing too. They clean up that mess of falling down trees and junk, I mean.
I have an idea they wanna leave that there because people
Well,
can't.
and that's
easily-
fine. That's
They
fine.
removed a lot of the wire, because
That was dangerous.
That was dangerous and an eyesore, so they
Right.
removed a lot of that, but I think they're worried about removing the trees, because then the sand will.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And they're natural, they're natural
Right.
deadfall and stuff, so that's okay. Speaking of things that fell down, now we need to get Smecco back in there to fix that, take care of that power pole and the wires.
I guess I figured they did that.
Hmm?
I think I thought that had been done.
The last time we were down there, that pole was still laying down.
Okay, so they just had them come turn off the
Well,
power.
I think I think the idea was, what we basically concluded then was, let's wait until it's
Right.
done,
Well, it makes
then get them
sense.
back in there to
Yeah,
fix
that makes
that.
sense. I'll call them tomorrow.
Right, that's all I have on that.
That's it.
Do you have any other unfinished business? Reserve study we already talked about, I guess. So, wait for the finance committee to get your inputs, and then we'll schedule another session with them. New business, anybody?
No, I don't think so.
Well, my calendar says that Tuesday, December 5th would be the next meeting. Does that sound okay?
Works for me.
As far as I know, yeah.
All right. Yeah,
And the membership meeting is the
16th?
16th, thank you, yeah.
Thanks for reminding me. So that'll be at 10 o'clock, right?
Yes, and it's going to be held in accordance with Maryland State Law Government quorums,
Right.
since there was no quorum in September.
Yeah, that's an artifact of, it actually protects us because, what they realize is with organizations like this, sometimes it's hard to get a quorum for business. And so this way, if we don't get it on one meeting, automatically qualifies for the next meeting. So that way, like if we need to get a budget passed or something, we're no more than about a quarter away from being able to get it resolved.
So we can still get things done.
Yeah.
So then when it comes up to the March meeting, where we announce the slate of candidates for the board, we'll need some type of a ballot
Yeah, well,
in order to have a quorum.
Yeah.
You accept the slate or
we'll
something.
have to probably do the absentee ballot or.
Yes. Yes.
It'll be nice to have the beach project done for the meeting, 'cause
Oh,
at least you
yes.
can have a positive thing to talk about,
Right.
like, we did this, we
Right.
got this
Yeah.
accomplished, because we've been talking about it for a long
No,
time.
it took 5 years.
I know.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, we'll get this inspection out of the way and hopefully it'll,
Yeah,
I can't see why it wouldn't pass, but
yeah.
with the county, God knows.
Right.
so we'll, do that, and I'll take some pictures of it and show them at the meeting, and,
Yeah.
okay.
Is there anything for decision at the membership meeting in December? Will we have-
No, well, we announced the nominating committee, which I put in the newsletter, something about needing a nominating committee. So no, but it will be a quorum regardless because of September not being a quorum.
Right.
So we're fine there.
There's just nothing to decide, I was just wondering if we could, we'll be taking advantage of that or not, so. Is Kurt going to, do,
I don't know. I'll ask her, I'll call her. He's always been our nominating committee chair, or maybe not always, but for a very long time. So, I'll get in touch
Peter
with
did it.
her. Peter used to
did
do
for a long
it.
time,
Yeah.
That's right, he did.
whose term is up? My term is up, I
I don't know, I'll have to check, but John, you'll have to run, because you've been appointed to replace Maggie, so you'll have to run, and I know you'll want to.
It'll be a tight race, but I think you,
I'll have to check to see who's up, but Jack, I think you might be ready, you might be up. I don't know if you are, or not. You might be as well,
I think I don't remember.
I don't know, I'll check and see.
I don't think I've met you,
Oh,
sorry.
John
I'm
Latham.
Asha Andreas.
Andreas.
Yeah, nice to
Nice
meet
to
you.
What's your name?
Asha.
Asha, nice to
And
meet you.
and
John.
John,
John.
okay.
Actually, I was appointed a few months ago, but just one thing and another, we've not been able to make the meetings.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't make the October one. birthday.
Yes, yeah, but
And then
then,
I didn't realize the first membership meeting wasn't here, it was.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
right.
you showed up
I
here.
showed up here.
Yeah.
I didn't make it very clear, I'm sorry. So the December 16th meeting is a membership meeting, and that will be at the club.
Yeah.
The one on the 5th.
Yeah, it just has a lot
that's
more
here.
space for all the members to
Oh, yeah.
come.
Well,
so-
we're limited to 12 people, supposedly.
In this place,
Fire, yeah, look
yeah.
at that.
Yeah, we couldn't do it here.
No.
Yeah.